Hi everyone, I'm Vinay. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'd also like to thank the organizers of the Data Engineering Conference as well for giving me an opportunity to speak to you all. Today, I'll be talking to you about my experience so far of kickstarting a data project from the ground up at Wisr. I will talk about our data processes, the challenges we faced, and how we are overcoming those challenges. So, let's get started. A little bit about myself. I am Vinay Kulkarni. I'm the lead data engineer at Wisr, which is an ASX listed company built around the purpose to improve financial wellness to all Australians by helping access fairer credit, pay down the debt sooner, and better understand their financial standing and creditworthiness. I've been working with the data systems for about 12 years now. I started my career as a DBA and made the switch to data engineering over 4 years ago. I'm passionate about working with data processing technologies, building data models, and the data governance stuff. If you'd like to get in touch, you could reach me on Twitter or connect on LinkedIn. So, how did the data team came to be at Wisr? Well, back in 2017, Wisr introduced a new business model, moving away from a peer-to-peer lending model to a wholesale funding model, and ever since it has been growing very rapidly. For about 4 years until 2021, the focus has mostly been to grow our customer base, improve efficiency of our business models, and evolve our funding structures to facilitate future growth. Earlier this year, after delivering 16 quarters of continuous growth, the company felt the need to set up a data function to address the growing data requirements from within the business. So I want to start off by talking about the scheme of things at Wisr, the way it was before I came on board to sort of build this data platform. Now, this is a high-level architectural representation of our data systems when we started. The loan management system here is core to our business. It holds all information that our customers submit when making a loan application. It manages the life cycle of the loan application from the moment it is submitted until it is either approved or denied. It also interacts with a set of external APIs from credit bureaus, for example, Experian or Equifax, to obtain credit score information associated with the customer that is applying for the loan, as well as a bunch of other APIs that help assess the eligibility of a loan application against a set of predefined rules. Now, the portfolio management system here is another critical piece in this architecture. It manages the risks inherent in the credit process. This system helps us identify and control risks before they become problems. It also helps us monitor loan performance, loan repayment behavior, and control the credit culture. Our customers go onto our website to apply for a loan, or they might already have a loan and use the Wisr app that rounds up their payments to help pay down their debts faster. So the data associated with them are primarily facilitated by the loan database itself. On the other hand, we have an internal portal that connects to loan and portfolio database, allowing our internal users to extract data for deriving data insights. As you can see, while we are able to get the job done, this does not fit into our growing data requirements. In the next slides, I'll talk about the challenges that we needed to address to reinvent ourselves. The first of which being the data fragmentation. We have multiple data systems and they all don't talk to each other. Also, the loan management system and the portfolio management systems, they produce two different sets of related numbers. The data systems are in their own silos, basically. In essence, we lacked a single source of truth. And due to that, our internal teams often had to take additional steps to correlate these numbers and making it a laborious exercise for them. The issue became even more compounded considering that we as a company are growing very rapidly. We're experiencing a data explosion on our systems. in the sense that the next 12 months will see our data grow to more than 3 times its current size. And additionally, the teams have resorted to building their own pieces of data solutions, which has resulted in creating a data mess due to the legacy processes. Moving on to the next one, the existing platform's abilities are curtailed in terms of scalability. How has this been a concern? Well, as the amount of data increases, our systems need to be able to handle that additional influx. Every system has its own set of limitations that needs to be dealt with when scaling it. So the data integration between these systems will require higher processing power and a robust system as well. Similarly, use of Excel is becoming increasingly problematic, where data aggregation activities cannot be handled in spreadsheets alone anymore. We needed to reinvent ourselves for the better. We're also likely to be missing out on immense opportunities that can come out of correlating various data sets more efficiently, like combining customer behavior and the engagement data with our internal data systems that could be related to business operations or customer experience, for example. It could also help us improve business outcomes and deliver a better personalized experience for our customers. The other challenge that I want to mention here is the need to innovate our processes. We've been traditionally measuring up metrics through legacy processes that involve lots of manual data extraction, aggregation, and review efforts. Although our processes have thus far served us very well, they are becoming a limitation to our growing needs. We perform additional audits and reviews on the data to ensure they are presented accurately. We've also come to realize that there are some gaps in overlaying the qualitative and the quantitative datasets relating to our products. Addressing this gap will provide incredible views into customer behaviors and preferences that also contributes to the evolutionary path of Wisr products as well. Now, considering all the data challenges we discussed, we had to produce a roadmap of sorts to work around these challenges and design a stable and reliable data platform. That's when we started laying down the foundations. One of the earliest exercises we undertook was to gather business requirements. We engaged with the stakeholders of departments, analyzed the current state of data analytics, identified the shortcomings in their existing processes, and proposed a potential solution. We also defined our own success criteria and an approximate dollar value of expected returns as well. We then moved on to drafting a data strategy on the back of our requirement gathering exercise. We defined our goals, the scope of work, assessing what skills we as a team possess, and the need to hire more personnel to strengthen the team as well. The next step naturally was to choose the tools that our data and tech stack will be built on. Over the next few slides, we will discuss some of the choices we made and how they helped us address our data challenges. We discussed 3 data challenges earlier, and now we'll talk about how we address these challenges with a solution for each. A bit of a disclaimer here that the solutions we propose do not completely resolve our problems. However, they do ensure that our immediate concerns are alleviated. Talking about the challenges, we spoke about the data fragmentation first. How did we address this? We are building a data lake. Considering we are a fintech company, we have a legal obligation to retain operational data for a period of time. We decided that the data lake would be a great solution for a variety of reasons in this case. Data lake has helped us centralize data that we generate in the organization, be it the loan or the portfolio management systems, the behavioral events data from various microservices or APIs. We've started to ingest them all together to be stored on Azure Blob Storage. Now, the data is stored in a columnar file format like Parquet using the Hive-styled time partition scheme. That way, it can take advantage of the schema awareness and the high compression ratios offered by Parquet format. We're able to take ad hoc full snapshots of source tables as well as incremental snapshots. Now, the data immutability policies help us comply with regulations and for auditory purposes as well. We are now able to retain 100% of the data that we generate, which once written into Azure Blob Storage cannot be modified or deleted. On the other hand, the lifecycle management policies allow us to manage costs while storing terabytes of data for longer periods of time. The objects in the blob storage automatically move to cold storage after a year of not being accessed. We've been able to apply the required data governance rules following the principle of least privilege, which ensures that data can only be accessed by those who actually needs to access it. Moving on to the next one, which highlighted concerns of a curtailed data scalability issue. While the data lake does constitute part of the solution, I believe it is the presence of a data warehouse that makes a big difference. Now, I say that because the data warehouse hosted on Snowflake platform in our case is becoming the self-service query tool for our data consumers. Through the improved data insights, the ability to generate consistent reports and dashboards, we've started to see the value it brings. Now, the business is coming to us with more and more requests for new implementations. Having the data warehouse has already reduced the need to query operational databases, and it has replaced Excel spreadsheets through use of a BI and reporting tool like Tableau or Power BI. We also follow the principle of least privilege on the data warehouse as well. So the sensitive data is masked by default, and only those authorized to view it will be able to. We've also built a metadata management framework that helps keep track of schema changes, data transfers, data freshness, the data validation errors, data pipeline health, and much more. Another important thing to note here is that we're not ingesting all the data that gets stored into the data lake. By design, we only bring a subset of the data into data warehouse. When the business needs new data sets to be made available, they request for it, and we can then enable it in our data pipelines. Now then, talking about a third challenge of having legacy processes and the need to reinvent our processes, we brought in an orchestration platform. We picked Apache Airflow as a tool of choice here. Airflow is essentially the glue that holds our data platform together at this point of time. Our data pipelines are built exclusively in code, they're fully automated, and are deployed to CI/CD DevOps pipelines. Through Airflow, we can create workflows with high granularity and track the progress of jobs as they execute. Additionally, the fact that we have deployed Airflow in a Docker container makes it easy for us to scale out the management of these jobs at any time quite easily. We've taken advantage of the macros and the Ginger templating feature of Airflow to render our tasks dynamically at runtime. Airflow's extensibility allows us to extend libraries to fit our needs as well. And thanks to its growing number of integrations, we can plug it into any system for any data-related activities. The UI is easy to navigate as well. It has built-in monitoring capabilities, allowing us to interact with logs as well. For alerting, we use Slack operator to send messages to our Slack channels. All of that we discussed earlier culminates into this architecture here. As you can see, we now have introduced a few additional components in here, like the data lake, the data warehouse, and the orchestration platform. All of them together forming one enterprise data platform. Airflow orchestrates our workflows and brings in the data into the data lake and data warehouse, We have batch processes set up to run periodically to pull data out of our operational systems. And then the data warehouse can currently serve the needs of our data consumers. However, it is still evolving by the day. We are building in more business logic to make it widely relevant to all data consumers within the company. We're also enabling analytical and BI capabilities to help product teams to derive meaningful insights from it. Also, notice the box highlighted in yellow here. Those are the services that we are working to build into the platform next. Now, I think this has already put us in a better shape compared to where we started earlier this year. Now, I would like to highlight some learnings and pitfalls from our journey so far. One of them being, we don't want to let the data lake turn into a data swamp where we ingest everything, eventually becoming very hard to navigate through. Data swamps have no curation, including little to no active management throughout the data lifecycle, and little to no contextual metadata as well, and very less data governance on them. At the same time, locking it down completely can turn it into something we could call as a data desert, where data is not utilized to its full potential at all. Coming to the Airflow side of things, it's a great software, it's open source, easy to get started out of the box. However, when you have to customize it to suit your requirements, it is very likely that you'd encounter many bugs. Managing Python package dependencies is very, very crucial. And I would highly recommend using virtual environment when working with Airflow. We've spoken about the progress we made in the data journey thus far. I would like to give a hint of what is to come next. First up, we want to leverage DBT to build data models and for our data transformations as well. And we want to explore the data discovery side of things using Amundsen. And then we also want to implement great expectations for data validation in our pipelines as well. We will also be looking to build an AI and ML capability, developing models for credit risk analysis, or forecasting, or personalization, and many more. In doing that, we're also preparing ourselves for the direction the company will move in the future. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, at Wisr, we're constantly striving to bring the best support to our customers to improve their financial wellness. We've done all this with only myself and a graduate in the data team. And as we scale the system and as the services that Wisr provides continues to grow, we will need to continue to build this out, and we will be looking for colleagues to join us. So feel free to touch base if this seems of interest to you. We are really excited for what is to come. This is certainly not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. Thank you.